You ever have one of those days where you think you're just popping into a bank to grab some cash, but instead you accidentally spark the biggest corporate meltdown in years? Yeah, you probably wouldn't survive this one without trending worldwide. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments just to see how far this story travels. It's 12:30 p.m., and First National Bank's marble lobby is echoing with the crisp click of heels, polite murmurs, and the subtle scent of overpriced cologne. Kesha Thompson, in a tailored suit that probably costs more than most people's monthly rent, steps toward the teller counter with the calm purpose of someone who's been here before. And yet, Brad Mitchell, a teller with the permanent, "I run this place," smirk locks eyes with her like she just wandered in off the street looking for free samples. "Excuse me, what are you doing here?" "The welfare office is 3 blocks down," he says, loud enough for the lobby to hear. It's the kind of line that historians still argue whether it comes from ignorance or the Olympics-level arrogance of unchecked bias. Kesha places a withdrawal slip $25,000 on the counter with a hand steady enough to hold a scalpel. Brad laughs, crumples it slightly, and tosses out every cliché about fake IDs and scams. Phones come up. The soft chorus of click from camera apps becomes the soundtrack. Maya Patel, a freelance journalist in line, is already live streaming. Viewer count climbing. Susan Martinez, the branch supervisor, glides over, aligning herself beside Brad like the co-captain of a sinking ship. Protocol this. Account type that her words dripping with the polite venom of "we just don't think you belong here." Jerome Washington, the security guard, appears. His stance says official business, but his eyes say this is wrong. The crowd thickens. The air shifts from polite banking quiet to reality TV tension. Announcements about an executive meeting in 30 minutes buzz overhead, but Brad's still riding his high horse until Kesha reaches in her leather portfolio. Out comes a business card. Not just any card, platinum embossed, First National's own logo, and her name in letters so sharp they could cut marble. Brad reads it like it's a joke. David Chun, the regional manager, steps in. His eyes flicker, recognition dawning like the world's slowest sunrise. Then the words drop, heavy as a judge's gavel. Thompson Financial Group owns 31% of First National Bank. The marble lobby goes dead, quiet like someone hit mute on the whole scene. Brad's mouth is open, but no words come out, which, given his earlier commentary, is almost a miracle. Susan takes a small step back, her heels clicking like tiny apologies against the floor. Maya's live stream explodes, viewer count vaulting from 15,000 to 28,000 in under a minute. Comments fly faster than anyone can read. "She owns the bank? Plot twist of the year. Fire them on the spot." David Chin's color drains as Kesha hands over his second card. This one isn't for show, it's an official board of directors identification, complete with preferred shareholder series, a voting rights stamped across it. The kind of thing you can't buy in China for $5, no matter what Brad thinks. Kesha doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. "Today's executive meeting," she says, gesturing toward the conference room, "is my quarterly board review." The crowd reacts like she just pulled a rabbit out of a burning hat. Jerome's eyes widen to see her name in corporate memos. It clicks. They haven't just been harassing a VIP customer. They've been harassing their boss's boss's boss. Now the reverse pressure begins. Kesha slides confidential documents onto the counter: customer experience assessments, discrimination analysis reports, Federal Equal Credit Opportunity Act citations. The words "penalties up to $500,000 per incident" hang in the air like a storm cloud about to burst. Somewhere in the back, a printer hums, blissfully unaware it might soon be repossessed in a corporate fire sale. Historians still argue whether David Chin's decision to keep the confrontation public was arrogance or sheer panic. Either way, it backfires spectacularly. News outlets start embedding Maya's live feed in their breaking news sections. Civil rights lawyers flood the comments. #trend globally. Then Kesha drops the ultimatum with the precision of a surgeon. 5 demands immediate terminations, mandatory bias training, AI-driven discrimination monitoring, a civil rights ombudsman with termination power, and a $25 million community investment fund. She even lists the implementation costs like she's reading a grocery list. $67 million total in year one. Sterling, the bank president, hasn't even arrived yet, and already the ground is shifting under First National. The weight of it is obvious. Refuse, and they lose their largest shareholder and possibly trigger a $3.8 billion investor flight. Accept, and they're signing away the old guard's way of doing business forever. By the time Sterling bursts into the lobby, ties slightly askew. The damage is done. The staff are statues. The customers are silent witnesses. The stock market is already moving. And Kesha? She's still standing there, portfolio open, voice calm, every syllable reminding them she didn't come here to play. Sterling takes one look at the scene. Brad frozen like a deer in the world's most expensive headlights. Susan holding her supervisor badge like a prayer bead. David Chin visibly calculating how fast he can update his resume and knows the boardroom war has already been lost in the lobby. Kesha doesn't make him wait. She repeats the 5 demand with the same measured cadence, adding one final condition. You have 24 hours to respond. Acceptance means partnership. Rejection means liquidation. There's no shouting, no threats, just economic gravity pulling the entire bank into her orbit. The corporate lawyers on Sterling's speed dial can't move fast enough to stop the freefall. Outside the bank's glass doors, reporters have started gathering. Inside, customers watch like they've been handed front-row tickets to the kind of history Netflix will someday dramatize. The next day, Sterling sits at the head of the emergency board meeting. Every director's eyes on him. Maya's live stream has racked up 3.2 million views overnight. Public opinion isn't just against them, it's marching through their lobby with megaphones. First National accepts full responsibility, Sterling says, voice tight but steady. The room exhales in unison. Brad? Fired, with 34 past complaints finally dragged into daylight. Susan? Dismissed for supervisory negligence. David Chun? Resigned before his review could even be scheduled. Jerome? Promoted to Director of Compliance and Customer Advocacy, his badge gleaming like poetic justice. Maya? Hired as Head of External Communications, tasked with building transparency from the ground up. The reforms roll out fast. 40 hours of mandatory bias training for every customer-facing employee, AI monitoring of all interactions, DR. Angela Davis appointed as an independent ombudsman with full authority to terminate for discrimination. The $25 million community investment fund launches, issuing low-interest loans to minority-owned businesses within weeks. Competitors start copying the blueprint before regulators can even draft memos. Banking industry chatter shifts from damage control to how do we get a Thompson-level ESG score. 6 months later, First National stock is higher than before the scandal, fueled by institutional investors impressed with the transformation. 1 year later, Kesha speaks at the Global Banking Equality Summit. Dignity isn't negotiable in financial services. Complaint rates have dropped by more than half across banks that adopted her standards. Minority lending is up 34%. And Maya's documentary, Owning Justice, premieres at Cannes, taking home top honors. The wind down starts quietly, no fireworks, no dramatic standoffs. Just a bank lobby where every customer is greeted with equal respect. A quiet hum, replacing the buzz of phones recording injustice. The marble floors still gleam, the columns still stand, but the air feels lighter. Even Brad, now working at a credit union after completing bias training, admits the day changed him. And somewhere, Kesha reviews another quarterly report, smiling slightly. Not because she won a fight in a marble lobby, but because she proved something bigger. When discrimination becomes expensive, change isn't optional, it's inevitable. The scene fades now, like the lobby lights dimming after business hours. Conversations soften. Footsteps slow. Outside, the streets hold the muted hum of a city settling into evening. Somewhere, a bank teller straightens a stack of forms without realizing that his tone, tomorrow, will be warmer than it was yesterday. In the boardrooms, policies that once gathered dust are being rewritten under brighter light. Training modules play on screens in small-town branches, and someone, maybe a new hire, maybe a seasoned manager, leans forward, seeing themselves in the lesson. The ripple has reached far beyond the place where it began. Maya's footage still exists, tucked away in archives and shared in quiet corners of the internet. Not for outrage now, but as a reminder of how quickly the ground can shift under the weight of truth. Jerome walks into his office, each morning knowing he can speak, knowing it matters. And Kesha, well, she still walks through lobbies, sometimes unannounced, always observing. It's not the applause she remembers, or the headlines, or even the summit speeches. It's the small, unrecorded moments. A customer's smile, a manager's apology that doesn't come too late, a transaction that happens without a shadow passing over it. And you, listening here, you carry the echo of this story. Maybe it nudges you to notice, to speak, to hold the line when the air feels heavy. Maybe it reminds you that power isn't always in titles or ownership. It's in knowing when to step forward and what to say when the whole room turns to look. So let the image linger. The calm figure at the counter, portfolio open, voice steady. Not breaking the moment with volume, but bending it toward justice, one deliberate sentence at a time.